paid in full with his blood. It is finished, love has won. Every sin nailed to the cross once for all.
What's up, everyone? Hope you guys are having a great week. Today we've got something really cool that we're doing. I'm actually here on this call with the writers of the next Loop worship song that we've got coming out called He Paid the Cost. And this is coming out March 25th. So guys, thank you so much for jumping on here and chatting with us. This is something we've been pumped about for a while. And yeah, love the chance to get to hear from you guys. And it's great. So thank you so much for being here. If you don't mind, I'd love for you to just go around and give just a brief introduction, let these people know maybe where you're calling from, what your worship experience has been, and then what led up to the writing of this tune.
All right. Well, I'm Sarah Stankiewicz. I'm actually in Southwest Michigan. And I think worship has just been something that's been on my heart since I was young. Just grew up in a Christian family and just have always just loved singing and worshiping God. And so I'm currently not a worship leader or anything. I'm writing, but I've played keys in worship at our past church, and just worshiping and writing and enjoying meeting some great people. I know Nancy. I know Nancy. Her and I met online. I was looking for co-writers, and God kind of orchestrated bringing us together.
Oh, wow.
And so kind of cool. And then Russ, I met at Kingdom Songs, Michael Farron's event down in Franklin. So
Okay.
we met. We've just kind of written and love writing with both of them.
And I'm Nancy Blandford, and I live in Northern Michigan. And I just feel blessed to have been a part of this. I've been involved in worship since I've been an adult, usually part of the worship team. I'm on a worship team right now. I also do all the orchestrating, or I shouldn't say orchestrating, coordinating of our worship at church. And I met Sarah online, and then we have actually gone to different functions together, so we know each other personally. And this was the first song where I actually met Russ online, and I've never met Russ in real life.
Oh, wow. Incredible.
One day.
Incredible. Yeah, someday. That's right. That'll be quite a collaboration whenever that does happen, I'm sure. That's great. Russ, let's hear a little bit about you.
Hey, I'm Russ Parrish. I live in Minnesota. Actually live in Burnsville, Minnesota. I started in Nashville, and then 6 years ago I moved up here because a church called me up here. I'd been living in Nashville my whole life. I was working at full-time church in Mount Juliet for a while, actually. And I said, I want to get out of Tennessee. I'd known Tennessee my whole life. People always ask me, like, why'd you come up here? If you're doing music, why'd you come get away from Nashville? And it just felt like it was the right time to kind of get out and see the world. And so I'd put my resume out, and a church had called me up here, and that's how I ended up here. Now I'm leading at a church out in Woodbury called Resurrection. And I've been here for about 3 years, right before COVID started. So it was kind of a blessing. I was able to kind of help them go through a lot of the online stuff, really focus on doing a lot of things on YouTube and just live stream and stuff like that. So that's kind of my past of worship, what I've been doing with my worship leading in the last few years here. And like they said, it was kind of fun. It was the first time all of us writing together to see this song come together. One of the other co-writers of this song, Chris Clayton, was one that Sarah and I had met through Kingdom Songs. So that was a really fun time to kind of get to know him. His production stuff is absolutely incredible as well with his demos and songs. He's done a few of my songs. But yeah, it was really fun to kind of have him get connected in this group. And first time all four of us writing together. And I don't know, it was just exciting kind of see what would happen, what came together.
Yeah, that's great. So what was the actual circumstance that the song was written in? What was it? Were you guys part of an event? How did you guys all actually end up in the same room? I know a couple of you guys you met online, Russ, Clayton. How did you guys all actually end up doing this together?
I'll answer that. Sarah and I had actually started writing a different song. And a lot of times we'll do things back and forth on Google Doc, and not even, we'll meet, we'll kind of talk about it. And one night we were like we were both on the Google Doc and working on it. And I came up with the chorus idea, and Sarah said, take that off from there, and we're writing a different worship song with that. So then we met and worked on the lyrics, and we knew we had something special.
Yeah.
It really, some of the language isn't what you would hear in a normal worship song, and Sarah and I are really good at lyrics and working together at doing lyrics. We click. And so when it came time for the melody, neither one of us are melody people. I hear everything back in the 70s and 80s. And Sarah
It's coming back. It's coming back, though.
That's right. It really is. That's very true.
Sarah said, I know who we should call in on this. And I don't know, Russ, if you were working on that demo, The Shepherds Got My Back for us, or if that came afterwards, but it was like, I remember we set up a time, you looked at those lyrics, and I remember you saying, wow, that it just like hits you to the heart. And anyway, I'll let somebody else talk now.
Yeah, we sent it off to Russ, and we're just like, can you do something with this? And I remember him writing back and being like, I think, he's like, this is a stab at it. And it was already really, we were like, whoa, what just happened? So, yeah, so it was kind of cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, yeah, it just sounds like, I mean, when was this? I should ask that. How long ago was this actually?
Long enough that we had to look back and try to remember how it actually transpired. I think it was mid 2019.
Yeah.
Before. I think that's when it was.
Was it amidst the COVID shutdown?
No, it was after. It was before that. It was.
Okay.
I think it was right after Easter in 2019 when we were inspired, because this other song that we were writing was something that we haven't even finished. It was "Crucified All Sin" or something like that, and so I know that it had something to do with Easter, that we were inspired by Easter.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's great. Yeah, I was going to say, was it written around Easter time? I'm happy that we're, finally putting it out there around that time, because it's so appropriate. It's just a very, very cool song, and I think as a part of this interview, we're going to include a small portion of it so people can get a little taste. But yeah, was there any one particular, you were inspired by Easter, but was there a particular circumstance or a particular lesson that, God was revealing to you guys, maybe as a writer, Sarah or Nancy, that really sparked it? Or was it just something that came out of, I mean, like you said, you're writing a different song. Is there anything else you'd like to share on that?
Well, I think that the thing that really struck us was when we got the line, "Every sin nailed to the cross." And then we originally, the song was called "Paid in Full," and it was bookended on the chorus. And once Chris Clayton got involved, we kind of shifted some things around and changed it to "He paid the cost," since that's what it landed on. So Sarah and I do a lot of I think that "Every sin nailed to the cross" really hit us, and we do like to do a lot of word research, and that "paid in full" and about the debt and the expense and the money.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Sarah.
I was just saying, just taking it from the idea that we know Jesus paid the cost for us. We know he did that, but we just kind of jumped in and what does it mean? To have this debt and have it paid off, and the freedom you find in it, and just kind of got that chorus. When she had that chorus, just started researching that and going, wow, so what is, where does that lead us? And so it was fun to write, and it was just kind of eye-opening to go through it and just see it in a new light. not just like knowing it, but kind of like walking through it. Yeah, it was neat, but it all did come off of that one chorus. It was funny. I saw that chorus. I said, Nancy, that's another song. Like, we have to write that song. And so it was cool that it all came together.
Yeah. And it's like, a debt I could not pay. And then the language, you wouldn't usually hear my sin so vile, I haven't heard that in a song. But I remember that hitting Russ, and Russ going, whoa, where did you guys come up with this?
Yeah. Man, it really is terrific. It maybe isn't, what you would traditionally hear, but the message is so strong, and it's something that should never get old to us as believers, So I think it'll be an encouragement to many, many people. I think one of the coolest things that I've heard from you guys, just how this came together, the fact that you guys were communicating, remotely, doing this on a Google Doc. I think that's probably encouraging to a lot of songwriters, especially today, when people can't a lot of times be in the same room writing songs. But the fact that something so good can still come out of something like that is incredible. I think this song is, the biggest testament to that. That's super encouraging. Was there anything you guys learned throughout that process of, sending things here, sending this here? Maybe what tips or what encouragement would you give to worship leaders and songwriters that are in that boat in today's world? Anyone have any thoughts on that?
I say, don't give up on the song. Chase it until it's the best it can be. And Sarah and I knew, we could have written a melody. It wouldn't have been the same song. And Russ put his stamp on it. And he helped with the lyrics too. We tweaked things as we went along. And then we got to a certain point where we had some feedback on it, and we knew we had to pull Chris in. And Sarah talked to Chris. She knew and coordinated all of that. And he did so much that we felt we needed to include him as one of the writers. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd add, one thing that I've been learning, and I've learned especially in this process, was like, we want to take a break for a while, step back, look back at it, kind of see what are things that we can really focus on that can be a big part of this process. I think a lot of times when I get caught up in songwriting, I'm spending 2 to 4 hours just drilling it into this one song. But when I take a week off and come back and look at it, both melodically and lyrically, I can kind of see where some places could be strengthened. What are the places where we can kind of feel like this is an anthem we want the church to sing? Like, I think about the bridge on this song all the time, kind of how that's like what I want to hear the congregation singing, what I feel like we want to say, like, that bridge that just says, he chose to die at my expense, so I'll choose to live only for him. Like, that's something that I feel like just resonates with the church, that as a congregation, you hear everyone singing that out, you're like, that's what we want to be proclaiming. So it's fun. I don't know if we necessarily found the weight of that, or like looked at it as intensely without kind of taking a break. And like you're saying, like when we have Chris Clayton really add on and look at it so much, it kind of helps to give more eyes, I always find that rest is what helps me be stronger. It's kind of seems so cliche. I don't know, maybe, by being weak, you find strength. By taking a break, that you find that, how do we improve this and get better? And I think that's something I've learned through this song, and I've carried on beyond this as well.
Yeah. And also just to, like, to be willing to work with other people and hear their opinions, because you can have a great idea and it could be great, but when you bring in other people, sometimes just the co-writing aspect of like when Russ started singing it, and he sent us that, I was just like, wow. Like Nancy said, we could have stabbed at the melody, but we're stronger lyric writers. So it's like trusting other people in the talents that God's given them to be able to work together to come up with something that can be the best that it can be, and being okay with, not being able to offer everything, but to rely on other people to, to bring it all together.
Yeah,
and I
love
think that just, kind of speaks to even how the church is built with, we all are part of the same body, and we all have our different uses and gifts. And something that I have learned is that it's okay to spill your guts with, you know, and be vulnerable, because dig deep, because that's where the good stuff comes. That's where the honest comes.
Yeah, those are great thoughts. Yeah, and I think all those things come through with a song like this. Yeah, it's simple, but it's just the truth that we should never stop proclaiming, for ourselves, and even those simple ones are the ones that we need to be reminded of most, so much of the time. Well, that's great. I just I want to say thanks again to each of you guys for jumping on here and kind of sharing your heart with all those things. Just to reiterate to everyone watching, this will be coming out on March 25th. And you can, of course, listen to it wherever it is that you get your music. You can get the tracks at loopcommunity.com when the time comes, so that you can, use this song in your services, maybe in time for Easter, if you're still in that stage of the planning process. But wishing you guys all the best. And just want to say thanks again for y'all's willingness to put this song together. It's gonna be great for many people to hear.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Matt.
Yeah, not a problem. You guys take care. We'll talk soon.
Okay.
All right. See ya.
See ya.